and welcome one and all to this, the now traditional festive Overeem stream. That's right, 2 years in a row makes a tradition here at Overeem, and we're really pleased to have you all along, watching on your local social media device, whether it be your phone, your laptop, wherever's most convenient for you. We have a fabulous lineup here. I'm going to keep my talking to a minimum. For those who don't know, my name's Mark. I go by Whiskey as my jam. I'm ably assisted here tonight by the effervescent John Jarvis behind the scenes. But as I said, I'll keep my talking to a minimum so you get to hear from all the lovely people here at Overeem. And to take us away will be Jane talking about the team and giving us a bit of an intro as to how the evening's going to run.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Hello, everyone. We're all so excited to be hosting you for our 20th anniversary Christmas Overeem virtual tasting this evening. We're certainly excited to share some super beautiful whiskies with you tonight. For those that don't know me, my name is Jane Overeem, and I'm the owner here at Overeem Distillery alongside my husband, Mark Sawford. And we'll be presenting some whiskies alongside my father, Casey Overeem. He's the founder of Overeem Distillery, and also three of our beautiful team members. We've got Aaron. Oh, that's a bit weird. We've got Brett and we've got Richard. So they'll introduce themselves to you properly as we go through the whiskies this evening. Now, what I wanted to do to just start the night off before we dive into any whiskies is just give you a brief history of the last 20 years, very brief, I promise, and it's a timeline just so it makes a little bit more sense to you as you're going through your virtual tasting packs tonight. So basically in 2005, my father, Casey, he started Overeem Distillery as a hobby in the front yard of our family home. Now, he released his first whiskies in 2012, Overeem Whiskey, after 5 years of maturation in the Overeem bond stores. Now, in a very short time between 2012 and 2014, our whiskey grew in popularity very quickly, and everything that Dad had made was flying off the shelves. So it was in 2014 that Dad said, look, it probably is time to increase production, but he was also pretty interested in semi-retirement. So he did sell the distillery in 2014, and I stayed on with the new company for 3 years. But during that time, my husband Mark and I, we really missed the family operation. So we went out and started Sawford Distillery in this warehouse that we're sitting in at the moment. And we were busy in production for 300 years. For 3 years, feels like 300 years. For 3 years, and we laid down exactly 244 barrels during that time. But after that 244th barrel was filled, we got the amazing opportunity to buy the Overeem brand back. So in 2020, we did that, and I could quite possibly say it was one of the best days of our lives, and probably Dad's as well. And as much as we're celebrating 20 years this year, we're also celebrating the wonderful last 5 that we've had, an amazing team behind us and amazing customers that have supported us throughout the 20-year journey. So I really hope you enjoy this evening, that you're cozy somewhere with your little tasting mats and your 6 glasses of Overeem whiskey tonight. I truly hope you have a wonderful time. Let's get into the first whiskey, shall we? So the first whiskey we are going to be drinking from left to right, from the top row first and the bottom row to follow. And the first whiskey we have in front of us, so if you could all pick up your first glass, including you guys.
Never enough.
Give it a good swirl around in your glass, open up the whiskey and have a nose. Nose from left to right.
Nice bit of whiskey there, Casey.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. I'll just sort of give you a bit of a look here.
A look at this one? Yeah, good idea.
Flock shots.
So this one has an interesting name, the Flock Shots. Flock Shots Batch 6. So Flock Shots, it is an interesting name. For those that don't know what flock is, basically when we decant a cask of whiskey and we break it down to 43% or any lower than 46%, a natural chemical reaction occurs where flock forms. Now, flock is just like little particles of beautiful natural fats and oils in a whiskey, when the water's added, and they float around in the solution, but they do make your whiskey look slightly cloudy. So you can avoid this cloudy look in your whiskey by chill filtering a whiskey. But when Dad was making Overeem, he was very keen to either leave the flock in or settle it out in a vessel rather than chill filtering, because he was very fond of these beautiful natural fats and oils that he gets, or that we get from our beautiful Tasmanian barley. So Dad chose to settle his whiskey, which is a bit of a painful process. It's a 6 to 8 week settling process where we allow the flock to form, bind together and settle into the bottom of a vessel. And then we can carefully draw off the clear whiskey from the top. And what you've got left in the bottom of a vessel is a beautiful, rich, fatty, oily flock that Dad used to call flock shots when his mates would come round to the distillery. When it was at home in the front yard, swarms of people would come from all around the community to have a glass of flock. And I'll always remember just how generous and fun Dad was in those days. You're still fun, Dad, I promise. But Dad was just always so generous with his time with people and generous with his samples and generous with his flock shots. So we thought we'd open tonight with a fun whiskey. It's bottled at 43%. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's nice and hazy, probably difficult to see in the glass, but you can see that in your bottle. And it's a marriage of many of the casks that we've decanted throughout the year. So it's got a little bit of everything in it. Richard does a beautiful, that's confusing me. Richard does a beautiful job putting this release together each year. It's a marriage of port, sherry, bourbon casks. We've got some special releases in there. What have we got this year?
Actually, a touch of Solera. So if you come down to the cellar door, you're going to get a sample of Solera. So we wanted to sort of thicken up that back end. So it's just got a touch of that musket Solera cast in there as well, which is pretty special.
Awesome. I hope you enjoy it, guys.
Cheers.
Yes.
And cheers to Claire too, by the way, that couldn't be here tonight.
Yes, I've just seen her chat come through.
Stuck with the fires at the moment. So all the best for Claire, and such a shame she can't be here with us.
We love you.
Yes, and she's done so much work involved in this virtual, so
She has.
She deserves it.
Big shout out, Claire.
Yeah.
All right. How are we enjoying the flock shots?
That's delicious. Great first whiskey of the night. I think it is pretty indicative of, Casey, your sort of philosophy to, make whiskey fun, enjoy whiskey. It is supposed to be shared and enjoyed with friends. I mean, we definitely take whiskey making very seriously, but it also, we love sitting down and sharing a dram with friends and family. It's great. So this is a great whiskey for
It's a
that.
good starter.
Yeah.
Well
done, guys.
Yeah, just a geeky one for Rich. So how far back are you saving the flock for like the next flock shot?
Really good question. Actually, we treat it as a mother system. So we build it up, as Jane said, over the course of the year, but we're not disposing of that. So this does contain whiskey going back from, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
2020 basically,
So
2020 onwards.
This is from the original batch one.
Wow.
That's
Mhm.
great.
Yep.
Very cool.
Great.
Great.
Well, if we don't have other questions from the stream on the flock shots, and I don't think we do, John, unless you're hiding them from us, we might roll into the next dram and the video.
I'll just say something really quickly. If you do find us moving quickly between whiskies this evening, don't feel as though you need to finish the dram in front of you. You can definitely sit it there. If you've got a number of glasses, feel free to let that whiskey rest while you move on to whiskey number 2 or whiskey 3 or 4, and then you can revisit the whiskey later on. There'll be plenty of time for that. So it's always nice to go back to a whiskey too and revisit it to see how it compares to some of the whiskies later on in the evening. So, but please, let's look at Man of Promise video.
Man of Promise 2025. It's a privilege to do this every year. It's the highlight of my whiskey journey. This year marks the 20th anniversary of Overeem. I've been tasked to bring something special to the table. Now again, I think I've nailed something special for you. I'll take this opportunity to thank you all for taking the journey with us the last 20 years. Cheers, Casey.
Well, what a lovely way to lead into our next dram. I'm truly humbled sitting here with one of the founders of the first 5 Tasmanian distilleries in the modern era, being Casey. And this release, no, not that release, this release is a reference
Hold her up, Case.
to a promise that Casey made himself. And we've got some visual evidence of that promise coming true, which we'll share with you on screen.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to share with us, Casey, the nature of that promise you made to yourself, and in 2015, how that came to fruition, we'd really be glad to hear that.
No worries. Welcome, everyone. It's great to be here. And yeah, it's a real privilege. Now, I suppose the promise, we went to Norway. It's a bit of a long story, but I'll keep it brief. We tasted some drams there with an uncle of my wife's, and I was fascinated by the process that was that they were using to make it wasn't whiskey. It was something far from it. But anyway, that brought me to making a promise to my wife some years, or no, on the way home actually from Norway, where I said, one day I'm going to produce a whiskey that should stand comfortably alongside the best whiskies in the world. And she looked at me and thought, "Are you for
Crazy
real?"
promise.
Anyway, that was the promise, and that was now 45 years ago. Yeah, so do you want me to say more about the?
Yeah, so in 2015, you were obviously on a trip to the UK,
London.
was it, Casey?
2015, I went with the current distiller and his wife and Greta, and we went into Birmingham to the Selfridges store, and
Look at the
lo and
little only
behold,
bottle.
there it was on the shelf next to Bowmore and a 21-year-old Glenfiddich. As you can see, a little lock on it and all, and I think the price tag was higher than the 21-year-old Glenfiddich, but
Can we see the price?
it was a very, very moving moment for us, and it was the achievement, I think, and it was the goal that we then reached. So we're very thankful that we got there, and then it was time to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Fulfilled your promise, and that was enough.
And I assume, Casey, it was the only Tasmanian whiskey on the shelves you saw that day.
It was. Yeah.
Mm.
So whilst back then, when you started roughly the 5th in the modern era, we're now up to around 45 plus Tasmanian actual specific single distilleries producing and selling their own whiskey at this time.
Producing and selling. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Marvellous.
Interesting.
Very good.
Can you tell us a little bit about the whiskey, Casey, as to how it was put together and?
The whiskey of that at that time.
No, this the man.
The Man of Promise, right? Well, we can go on to the Man of Promise. The Man of Promise, it was an initiative of Mark and Jane's actually. So when they got the distillery back in 2020, I think they decided that they wanted to celebrate that promise, which was very moving for me, and for me to be able to select my favourite cask out of the bond store, which they would then bottle for the Christmas release. Well, what a lot of fun I had selecting that. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and it's still a highlight of my year to create that this whiskey, which is now a reserve. The Man of Promise each year. We put we're now having to marry a number of barrels to get to create the whiskey that you've got in front of you, and I hope that you've all poured it, and I'd like you to get into it and write some comments.
Someone already
because-
says fruitcake in a glass.
Ah, well, there
That's
you go.
exactly what we
That's
want.
what we're trying to create, and I'm interested to see the comments. And John Dykeman there,
You know him.
yeah, from there. So a big hello. Yeah, in Brisbane. Yeah, so it's nice to see your name pop up there.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah. So this is this has been created, and it's now 43%.
46 point. Oh, sorry.
33% of it it was port casks, and 67% bourbon cask. Yeah, so I believe we've created a really nice whiskey here, and I select the barrels, but we as a team now get together and choose the strength and choose the combination. So Richard, our very, very experienced, probably more than me now on the tasting,
Oh.
because he's at it every day, and he keeps saying, well, I think it might need a little bit more port or a little bit, you know. So well done, Richard, and the rest of the team, because together I think we put together a really nice whiskey.
Mm.
And Richard, just to pick up on a point Casey made, the Man of Promise also represents a bit of a paradigm shift from what was previously single casks in Overeem to moving towards marriages as well.
Yeah, it is. It's probably one of the first marriages you guys did a few years ago, right? The second Man of Promise had
Yep.
a marriage.
It was a
And that
marriage,
was
that's
supply
correct.
and demand issues. It's just way too popular that first release. So basically make the old man work harder.
Yeah.
Play around with a few different barrels, whether that be all port or all sherry, or over the years we've evolved and changed the recipe. And it's a lot of fun having the ability to be able to do that, because you're right, Mark, we are known for a single cask distillery. So to be play around with different flavor profiles, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, enjoy.
46.5%.
It's nice to see the comments. I haven't seen the negative one yet, but someone should probably say they don't like it. What's that say? It's a bloody what? Cracker. Well done.
And I have asked, but both Pop Shots and this are still currently available, aren't they?
Yes. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Right. I think anything else?
Nice. No, beautiful.
All right.
Almost fun time of the year too.
It is.
Well, we
What's
can move
next?
on to whiskey number 3, I believe. Should we?
Fantastic. Why not?
Mm.
I think
Why
so.
not? We've got more videos and more
Yeah.
talking to happen, so
Yep.
yeah.
And I'm
let's do it.
excited for whiskey number 3. This is the mystery whiskey, I believe. Hand that around. We'll
Yes,
give you
we
guys a
will.
couple of moments just to pour it up.
Carried away.
Little excited about
Was Jane
video
here?
that
That
we
was a
were-
bit exciting. Yeah, she got
I'll
all
take the
excited.
blame.
Before we jump into the video about this next whiskey, I'll just take a little bit of time to tell you a little bit about it, and give you some time to pour it up too if you haven't already, and we might pour up a little dram too. This is super exciting whiskey that's been in the making now since for a number of years. It's actually a sequel to a whiskey that we launched in 2021. For those of you guys that have been following us for a while, that might be a bit of a giveaway. It's probably one of, I don't like to pick favourites, but it'd be one of the one of my most favourite releases we've ever done back in 2021. A whiskey by the name of Dome Argus that we did with an Australian polar explorer by the name of Dr. Jeff Wilson. We met Jeff in 2020 after he'd recently come back from an expedition to Antarctica where he achieved 2 world records, one of which being the first person to ever summit the highest point of the Antarctic Plateau, which is called Dome Argus, which is the coldest natural occurring place on planet Earth. And And then second, doing the longest unsupported and unassisted polar journey in human history, which was, I can't remember the exact amount of kilometres, but it was almost 6,000 kilometres, I believe. And he was away for 57 days in complete isolation. So it was quite an incredible journey. And so we released a whiskey in honour of that journey, which sold out within a couple of weeks. And I think I recently saw a couple of bottles of it selling for almost $1,000 online, which
So if you've got one, keep
hold
that
on
in
to it.
mind. Hold on to it.
Hold on to it. But Jeff approached us not long after we did the whiskey release, and as Jeff sort of is that sort of guy, he was already planning his next expedition. And this one was a 2-year journey with his son, Kit, to the South and North Pole, and throw in a bit of South America and Patagonia in there as well. And he was traveling across the oceans in a carbon neutral boat, a still vessel boat, just wind and solar powered, with the endeavour to capture and document some of the impacts that a warming climate has on some of the most hardest to reach places on planet Earth. He referred to the project as Project Zero. And he asked us if we could support him and his son on this journey, which we eagerly said we'd love to be a part of it. So we sent a number of cases of whiskey to him to keep him hydrated on the journey. There's actually some great footage of him and the crew and his son sitting down there in Antarctica, cracking the top off a bottle of Overeem with this huge ice shelf just collapsing into the ocean behind him. And it's quite spectacular, actually. And so to cut a long story short, I could talk about this for ages. I'm so passionate about this project. We really wanted to tie in and create a whiskey that stood up to the reputation that Dome Argus did back in 2021. So we contacted the guys at Aurora Spirit Distillery, which is in Norway, up in the Arctic, which is the northernmost distillery in the world. They've got the northernmost barley field in the world. They make all their whiskey from glacial ice water. And we said, look, can you send us down some of your used whiskey casks? Can you freshly decant them, send them down to us, and we're going to use them to finish our whiskey. So we did that back in 2023. And the whiskies that you have in your glass tonight was samples of maturing or our maturing whiskey finishing in those casks, drawn out. So still very much a work in progress that we drew out for this online tasting. And but we were so happy with these samples that we decided to decant the cask last week, ready for a 2026 release. We're also planning to add a little bit of DNA from the Antarctic continent to really sort of marry that South and North Pole. And we're excited, super excited to share this whiskey with the world next year. But please enjoy this video now and check it out. And it's a bit of a sneak peek as to what's to come in 2026. Cheers.
so it's Tassie wind.
All right. I think we had a bit of a problem then. It's quite windy down here in Tassie today. I'm not sure if anyone else is local down here and experiencing that. Yes, did the feed just freeze for everyone?
Yes.
I believe it did. So there must be a little bit of a lag here, technical issues. But keep an eye out for that video. We'll be dropping that in the next week or two. We really wanted to share it with you all this evening because it is an exciting release that we just can't wait to execute next year with Jeff and his son. Hopefully you all enjoy it. So this is Overeem Portcast mature whiskey, 4.5 to 5 years of age in quarter casks that we've transferred into these Arctic barrels, and they've been sitting in these Arctic barrels for almost 2 years now. And we actually decanted them, like I mentioned before, last week, which you would have seen on the video if the video didn't do its thing. But super exciting. We'll put it on our socials and so forth in the coming weeks. But hopefully keep an eye on that in 2026. Cheers.
Awesome.
Any thoughts on this one? Like I was saying to you,
Yeah.
great, Mark. Amazingly soft on the palate, despite the step up in ABV compared to the last round.
Yeah,
It's still,
So we've jumped from 46 up to 52%, as it should state on the tasting map there. This whiskey's been really interesting. I think Rich would concur with this. Like, we put a really soft Portcast matured in there into these Arctic casks, and it really roughened up over those first 3 months, and brought in a lot of that flavour from this northern distillery and the Bivros single malt. And then it's just sort of gone through these ebbs and flows over the last 18 months to 2 years. And it's been fascinating to watch, but I'm just loving this sort of grassy, this earthy, this obscure note
as well coming through there. It's gorgeous.
It's been a really fun project from a whiskey perspective, and we just can't wait to launch it and share it with everyone.
but not until 2026.
Yes.
Not until next year. Yes, not until 2026. This one will be available. Keep an eye on our socials, and if you're not part of our mailing list, jump on board. You'll be the first to know. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So up next, I think we've got Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about the next two whiskies. I normally have my offsider here, Claire, to help me out. But as we said earlier, she's unfortunately stuck at home. We wanted to bring something a little bit geeky along to this tasting and sort of share an insight as to what we did at the distillery probably 8 months ago. So what we have for the first whiskey is part of our core range, which is our sherry cask, which is typically released at 60%. Instead, we've added a portion of water to that to bring it down to 52% to compare it alongside our limited release, which is our Pedro Jimenez matured whiskey. We lined these up earlier this year to see if we're going to do a limited release with this, just to see if it's the same, it's different, what are we up against? And it was unanimous with the team that we absolutely love the Pedro Jimenez, and it really, really differs from that of the Australian fortified casks that Casey's been sourcing since, the early 2005s. So the first whiskey is that core range, and we're going to launch it, I think, today, Jane, all going well?
Yes.
Yep. Cool. So OD 1411 was a hand-picked cask. Went down to one of our wine stores, and generally, if I fill up the sample bottle, fill a little bit too high, take a little swig off the top so I can put the screw cap on there, you get a pretty good indication that this is going to be absolutely perfect at cask strength whiskey. And so, give it to the team. It's all smiles. That's when we're going to release it there. So, 60% the core range. Typically, for me, you get a little bit of like Christmas cake, not Christmas cake, more wedding cake, more almond, more marzipan, a little bit of orange oil floating around in there, a little bit dry, a little bit nutty and spicy, and a lot of influence from that French oak cask as well. So those big pepper spices on the tail. But obviously at 60%, there's a lot of booze. So it's big and oily and viscous and really heroes our spirit as well, which is a lot of fun. Compare that to the Pedro Jimenez cask. Now, this one's a little bit different. Mark T touched on this earlier. We're a single cask distillery. Now, this release was a limited product, the first time Overeem has ever done this. We matured in a Pedro Jimenez, which is a very, very sweet style of Spanish sherry. Now, one cask wouldn't cut the mustard, so Mark and Jane laid 3 of these down on the exact same day. 5 3/4 years later, we decanted them all on the exact same day, found the right ratio, married them all together. We sat up on our mezzanine. Let's see if I can do Jane's trick and point the right way. We tried this whiskey at 43%, all the way up to 60% to try and understand it. And we just do a process where we nose it, we taste it, and if we like it, we push it away. The more we like it, the further we push it away, similar to what Casey talked about with this year's Man of Promise. And at the end of this tasting, you can sort of stand back and you see this little worm graph forming. And somewhere at the top of that graph, that's where this whiskey wants to be. I said, the first time we've ever done this type of cask before, so we're really trying to understand as to how it will work with our spirit profile. It was unanimous. We locked in at 52% in alcohol. So, as I said, married those 3 casks together, put it down to 52%, and we launched this product in July of this year, Jenny, was it? To celebrate
the 20th anniversary dinner.
So we launched this at Henry Jones earlier this year. And it's been a star favourite. It's completely sold out, so if you do love it, I apologise. But it's really, really interesting. PX, very, very gemmy, very, very fruity, really chewy at the front of the palate. I'm good, man. Oh, no, top me up.
We're going to do a little bit of blending.
This is 1411. Sure. So please let me know what you think. We absolutely love the Australian fortified cask, and that's what put us on the map. That's what's won all the awards through the years. Really, really consistent. Everything that we do is consistent, so it sort of makes sense that we've won awards since 2012 to up until this year in March. We won the Good Gold over in Tokyo with this product here. So please enjoy, guys.
So Richard, these 2 sherry releases that we're enjoying. The 52% PX was cut and released at 52.
Yep.
And then the Nook is at 52 for tonight only, and then the sherry is 52.
So this sherry will be released at 60%, but if you love it at 52%, quick maths, pour yourself a 30 ml dram, add 5 mils of water, or if you don't have a syringe, a teaspoon is 4.9 mils. Spot on.
4.9 mils. Okay. Kids new.
And one more geeky question for you, Rich. And I think I do it every year, but I did notice that the prefix on this one was an OD. It's a special era of release and distillation.
So these are the casks that Mark and Jane started laying down since they've acquired Overeem. Yeah. So we've gone through OHD, the casks that Casey laid down, OD for the casks that's through the Australian Whisky Holdings acquisition. You're going to see SD on a lot of our casks. They represent Salford distilleries, so the casks that they laid down, which we're going to try next, I believe. And then we've gone back to the OD, the Overeem distillery. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
Cool.
Thank you.
So these are the casks since that acquisition, because that was some 6 years ago now.
It's cool. One of the reasons we wanted to present to you guys a sherry cask matured at 52%, because traditionally we would just do a cask strength and a 43% ABV in our core range. So, but lots of people have really loved that PX, as Rich alluded to. So we sort of thought, well, look, a 52% sherry cask matured is still delicious. You can buy a cask strength sherry cask, dilute it down like what Rich said, 30 mils to 4.9 mils of water. So so please, if you do love this OD 1411, you can just grab a bottle of cask strength and dilute it down to this ABV yourself.
Huge honour to be able to enjoy the PX. I think this might be one of your last ones in captivity.
It's such a shame it's gone. This always happens after the release, doesn't it?
Mark was very surprised there was a PX on for us here.
Very pleased, actually. It was one of my favourite releases
The amount of bottles
this
that
year.
went home of this was absolutely wild.
Yeah.
It's always so amazing, though. I think we've got so many bottles available, and I'm like, Erin, you've got to get selling. You've got Erin. I'm not going to learn this, am I? you know, and I always think we've got such a large release, and I'm like, we're going to have this for a long time. This will be great, you know, because we love having limited releases available because, as we've touched on a few times this evening, we are known for our single cask, single malt releases, which we love. But of course, we get excited about when we have limited releases. So when we're doing tours and tastings in the cellar door, we love showcasing our core range, but we've always got our limited releases. So when they're out of stock, we've just got to get more limited releases out there, don't we?
Yeah.
Like the PX. I'm sad to see it go. So I hope you guys love it as much as we all do.
I think it was all our favourite
Yeah,
at the
it's
distillery.
Yeah.
certainly a good one, and I don't think I got a bottle.
Oh, Dad.
You're
I'll
not
have to
going
sort
home
that
with this one either.
out. No, I
Sorry,
really,
Casey, they're all gone.
I really, I love that it carries our 20th anniversary logo as well, because it's definitely a whiskey to celebrate this amazing 20th year.
Where's the bottle?
It's a good question from Clinton too. Is there more PX planned in the future?
Very good question.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
PX.
We've got a number of casks maturing at the moment, quite a few actually. And so we're so happy with the result of these first 3 casks, which were really just trials. We wanted to see how Spirit, as Rich alluded to how it worked with PX wood. So and we're super excited with the results. So we're looking forward to 2026 and 2027 from a PX angle.
If you guys aren't members of the Overeem Collective, which I think Shane will talk about a little bit later on, if
Yes.
you haven't heard about it, just watch this
It's a
space.
good idea.
No,
You like
Richard, I think
PX?
you're giving too
Good
much
idea.
away.
There's
Okay.
a question there for you, Case. Are
Uh,
you guys older than Lark?
No.
No,
What about by age though?
yeah, in age of whiskey or
Yeah, Bill Lark's got a couple of years on me, but I've got a couple of years on him with whiskey distilling illegally.
Hey.
So
We don't
there's a
talk about the
story.
war.
There is. Hey?
you can tell the story.
No, I better not.
I don't know. To me, this is fun and exciting, trying a limited product like this, and we all get pumped at the distillery. But for me, what's more rewarding is creating a core range product. It sounds
Agreed.
weird, but to be able to create a consistent product day in, day out takes more work, takes more effort, takes more patience than putting something together for a limited release. That might be diminishing, you know, we get excited by it. But having that core range, for me, the core range is what got me into whiskey. So it fills me with pride that now it's my responsibility to have that same impact on someone else's journey. So
Yeah.
I said, when I crack into these casks and I light up, I know we're on, I know that we're going to share that experience. It's almost our unsung hero, because as I said, you know, the fact that we can put a core range in this tasting and it stands out just as much as anything else
Agreed.
is a testament to what we do here, I think anyway.
Yeah, and it's the backbone of what we do. It's worth noting that, like, we talk about these limited release lines, but the reality is they're only really about 20% of our overall volume. Like 80% of our matured stock year on year gets allocated to core range. So to sort of echo Rich's sentiments, it is what we do and what we do probably best at Overeem. And that really comes from Casey's, the founding philosophies that Casey instilled back in the early days. And that's just doing things right the first time, and slow, patient, meticulous, you know, all those buzzwords that really are just the day in and day out operations here at Overeem. So
It works.
yeah, it works. It does. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Mhm.
We're ready for another dram, I think. aren't we?
All right.
Yeah.
Thirsty?
Yeah, pacing yourself.
This might become our most fun part of the year. Hey, Casey.
No, won't take away the amount of promise selection process.
Oh, someone's only just jumped in.
This is fun though, Aaron.
It is
Yeah,
funny.
it is very much fun.
Yeah, where are we?
I could
We're
do
at the
this
whiskey
every night.
number.
460.
At the last whiskey of the night, is it?
Yeah. We're at
We're at the
We're at
Fine.
Merrimack.
Merrimack House.
Mhm.
So this is
Yes.
Mm.
All right, my turn.
Casey?
This one here.
No, go over.
The final
That one
whiskey.
there.
One. final whiskey, guys. So
Unlabeled.
hopefully you got a little bit left in your glass of some of the other ones to go back and have a little dram on the side. So this is the last one for the evening. This whiskey, well, I'll start again. My name was Brett. That's what Jane alluded to earlier in the evening. I'm the distiller here now, so big responsibility to follow in this man's footsteps.
Thanks, Brett.
But this whiskey in particular had quite a journey, and for me, Rich is talking about his favourite aspects of the whiskey here at Overeem. Whiskies like this that have a story behind them fascinate me quite a bit. It's an incredibly delicious dram, but it's also got the story to it. So the story comes in two parts. I'm going to do the first part, and then I'm going to hand over to Erin to do the second part. So this whiskey has got a few little things about it. We'll start with the fact of how it was made. So back in 2020, Mark did the first distillation, created the low wines. Jane followed on and did the second distillation and created the new make spirit that went into the barrel. So straight away, we've got this combination of the two new founders of Overeem going together and creating this whiskey, which is really special. That whiskey got put into a barrel. That barrel was labelled SD244. Now, just a number to some people, but the significance of that barrel is, as Rich alluded to earlier, last barrel ever filled under the Salford Distillery label, which is pretty significant in the history of the 20 years of Overeem. So for me, those two parts started this journey on this whiskey and are well worth mentioning. Those of you who are in the collective, as Rich talked about earlier, and we'll talk a bit more maybe at the end of the night, if you've got your leather-bound journals, get them out. So there's going to be a few, I won't put a lot of facts and figures through this little speech, but there will be a few notes you might want to make in your journal about this whiskey, which is pretty cool. Anything you want other than that, really get into the nitty-gritty of dates and so forth, just send us a message and we'll be more than happy to send you all the information on this whiskey. So from there, the barrel got thrown in the bottle. Didn't get thrown. Carefully laid into the bond store and got to rest there for a number of years. Richard, being the diligent whiskey creator and barrel manager that he is, was delving in there. He noticed that this barrel was getting close to maturation. Didn't realise the significance though. Went down there, tasted it, came to the realisation this is very, very close. Came back, looked at his records, went, oh my God, this is the last barrel that Mark and Jane laid down before they took Overeem back into the family name. So he approached Mark and Jane and said, do you want to do something special with this cask? It seems like it needs it. So they decided to do something with it. What they did was they happened to have a cask that they just decanted. That cask was OHD 189. Got to keep remembering these numbers. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the prefixes, SD, Salford Distillery, OHD, Old Hobart Distillery, it was the name that Casey first listed his distillery under, or licensed under, sorry. So this was a pretty cool cask. The background of this cask goes even further. For those who are OC members, once again, you might remember a release we did in September, the very first OC release, a 12-year-old from a refill port cask, in fact. So this was the cask that we had spare. Why not marry the Salford Distillery with the Old Hobart Distillery and create the Overeem Distillery whiskey, if you like. So this whiskey was put into the OHD cask and finished in there. Now, there was two reasons. One was this marriage we wanted to create with this whiskey to bring everything together with the 20th anniversary. But also, Casey used to use Bill Lark's wash in the early days, in the OHD days. Now, Bill's wash has got half peated malt grain and half unpeated malt grain. So Mark also wanted to bring through a little bit of that original flavour profile, I guess, from the OHD casks that you used to get, this little subtle hint of peat of the grain coming through. And it's done that amazingly, in my opinion. So
there is a bit of peat there.
Yeah. So we all just got that, didn't we?
Yeah. So look, went into the barrel. We left it there for a few months until Rich deemed that it was absolutely ready to get out of that cask. We decanted this recently. It's a delicious port cask whiskey at 60%, we felt that it needed to stay at 60%. It drinks so well at 60%. Incredibly, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Case. Doesn't drink like a 60% whiskey in my eyes either. So many layers, delicate, delicious in every way. So that's where this whiskey's journey has come from and got to. But now we have a part 2 to this story that I'd love Erin to share with you to finish off where this whiskey has come from. Over to you, Erin.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett. Hi, everybody. Fantastic to have you all here tonight with us. So for those that don't know me, I'm Erin. So I'm the Customer Relationships Manager for Overeem, luckiest job in the world.
Pretty good, Erin.
Thank you. But this whiskey does have that beautiful story behind it, and they call me the fun facilitator, and I am the storyteller with an Overeem, so it fits me very well. And also I love cask strength whiskies. It's just phenomenal, and this is just perfection in a glass. So thanks very much, everybody involved from way back when. So a few years ago, we had a beautiful couple come and do a Tasmanian tour, but their number one destination, or they wanted to go around distilleries within Tasmania. And they left, came and visited Overeem, and they left, and they declared that we were the best distillery that they visited within Tasmania, and they felt like family leaving. So they decided to revisit us this year on the 5th of August, and not did they know, but we actually closed the distillery down for this tour throughout the year, throughout that day. And so the beautiful couple that we're talking about is Matt and Elle, and they're out there watching tonight. So like, I'm getting emotional already, guys. So these two beautiful people came in for a tour, and the whole team were here. So unbeknown to Elle, something exciting was going to happen for her that day. The whole team was here. Casey and Greta came in. I looked like I was busy upstairs setting up for another function that was going to come in with all big cheese platters, and the whole works was here. But we got to that point that, as we do in our tours, that we all got together and went down to our beautiful bond store to go and try some gorgeous casks, which they've done before. And as we went downstairs and we went to the very far end of the back of the bond store, Richard was standing there in front of this beautiful cask, and it was actually on a trolley. And as he went to explain about this particular whiskey, he turned this barrel around on a trolley, and there it was stenciled on the barrel. As Matt went down on one knee, will you marry me? And then there's Claire, popped the bottles of sparkling. We're all cheering. She said yes, everyone. But it was the most biggest highlight, I think, for all of us this year. So that's what Overeem's all about, is creating these momentum moments in people's lives and us getting on board. It's just been an absolutely fantastic journey. So before I say huge cheers to those two which are watching, this port cask, absolutely phenomenal. So if you need that bottle of port refilled at home, for you guys that are watching, we are opening up the lines tonight to purchase this for the next 24 hours. So please jump on board. It's a pre-order, so jump on board. But I would just like to say a huge cheers to Matt and Elle, you beautiful humans, all of us from Overeem Whiskey. It's just been a phenomenal year going down that journey with you.
And if you need a whiskey bar at the wedding, hit us up.
Yeah, we're all coming.
Cheers, Jane.
Hey, I love this whiskey. It's beautiful. We've even got some honeymooners that have crept into the room tonight, which makes this, I wish you could almost see, but we've got some, a beautiful couple that we've just met today who we said, oh, come and hang out for the virtual tasting. So they're up there, and congratulations to you two too.
You've all been very quiet.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right. So that is, as Erin said, that beautiful cask is available now. So what we did pop online tonight is the sherry cask, Sherry cask 1411. Richard knows I'm terrible at remembering numbers. OD 1411. So that was the sherry cask at 60%. which we broke down to 52% for the tasting. But online, as Richard mentioned, if you were looking for a sherry cask strength, you can see it on our website with the cask number at the end, OD1411. And as Richard said, you can add 4.9 mils of water to your 30 mil whiskey if you wanted to break it down to 52%. So there's that one. And then, as Erin mentioned, this beautiful port cask, the Marry Me cask, we're not actually launching till January. But we thought we could open it up for at least the people watching tonight that loved it. If you're keen on getting a bottle, we will make it available for 24 hours and we'll close it off tomorrow night. All right. So I think we've just got one last little piece that we'd love to share with you. I can't help myself, but one of my highlights for this year was launching the Overeem Collective. So the Overeem Collective is something that was just so fitting to launch in our 20th anniversary year, because we have really been working on it for a few years now. What we wanted to do was launch a whiskey club where we could really give back to the people that have supported us for so long. You all know who you are. You're probably sitting there with your whiskies tonight, and you're all going to message us tonight saying, my favourite was this, my favourite was that. And honestly,
I'd
guys,
love to know, actually.
that is what we love so much, is because we work here all week and we put our hearts and souls into this distillery and producing this whiskey. And I mean, we lay on the couch at night still looking at whiskey things and talking whiskey like it's our lives. So when we get this feedback from you all, and we really do appreciate it. So one of the things that Mark and I realised when we started to release single cask whiskies that were selling out too quickly, it wasn't actually fun for us. Yes, you can put sold out on a post and say, oh, we sold out in 4 minutes or 6 minutes. And yeah, that's great. But it was also disheartening at times because there was so many, half the time replying to people apologising who I really cared about that missed out. So we've been talking about this for years as we've been laying down our limited release whiskies. We thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to plan how many whiskies we should be releasing to these people that really do love our limited releases. And as Rich said, our core range is so solid and we've just got so many lovers of our core range, but there is a real space for these limited and interesting releases that we can sell from Overeem Distillery. So that planning has been made a lot easier now that we have launched the Overeem Collective. We can now look ahead and select from our barrel stores the oldest and rarest whiskies that we have got in there. And Mark and I laid these barrels down years ago, and we've acquired them also back from the Overeem and Lark merger all those years ago. So we've got some amazing releases in stock coming up for the next 5 to 10, 15, 20 years.
All gathering dust down in
and
so
the plan was to be able to release these to Overeem Collective members without then having to worry about jumping online, waiting in queues and potentially missing out on releases.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty simple offering. I'm going to show it to you in a video so you don't have to hear from me too long. So I'll give you a little sneak peek of what the Overeem Collective is, but I just want to also say a huge thank you to all the people who have joined. And I really hope you love your releases. We released a beautiful 12-year-old whiskey in September.
Yep.
And actually, what some of you may not know is that there was actually 14-year-old whiskey in there. So as I said, the oldest and rarest whiskies
for $199.
For $199. Mark just had to throw that in there. I don't want to be salesy on this. You can research it for yourself.
I would have bought every one of those.
But it's the oldest, rarest whiskies from Overeem, twice a year, one release in March, one release in September, and they are only $1.99 a bottle for a 700ml bottle. And you also get wonderful perks throughout the year. We just released the Man of Promise, and all Overeem Collective members received a 100ml sherry cask to go alongside it, and also a 10% discount on anything purchased from the Overeem website.
And free shipping.
I'll just add to that, apart from maybe like as in the Nanook X whiskey that we're doing next year, the March release for the Overeem Collective is one of the most exciting Overeem whiskies that I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. So if you're not part of the OC, I think jump on.
But it is also just worth mentioning there's a few releases throughout the year, like our Explorer series,
Yes.
the Nanook X and the Dome Argus, they are outside of the collective. So
Yep.
they are limited release whiskies. We have 1 or 2 a year that do get released to the wider audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's very interesting that you mention the OC all the time, Overeem Collective. I just realised that it's got Casey Overeem, CO backwards.
I never realised that
Oh,
either.
there
There you go.
Very well thought of,
Intentional.
Jane. Yeah.
That's really intentional.
OC.
That's
Members
right.
of the OC. Hello, Jane Overeem from Overeem Distillery here. I'm so excited because we are here launching our brand new internal whiskey club, the Overeem Collective. I'd love you to come and check it out. Okay, so how does the club work? Well, upon joining, you'll receive a welcome whiskey plaque, and then following that, your member number unlocks members' pricing on everything from Overeem Distillery, from the Overeem website, and also from our cellar door. And then you'll be sent 2 limited releases a year, one in March and one in September. Now, these are the most rare, special, and limited releases that we currently have maturing in the bond stores, exclusively curated for members of the Overeem Collective. No.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap up the evening now. I just want to say that we're so thankful for all the support that we've received on our 20th year this year. It's been a big year for us here at the distillery. We did our first ever peated whiskey in January. We did 4 20th anniversary whiskies. We did a huge dinner with a couple of hundred people there. We launched this Overeem Collective that we've been so passionate about building over the last couple of years, and the take up for that has been incredible. We're going to close up shop on the 24th of December and really enjoy a couple of weeks off because it's been a great year, super exciting. I just want to say thanks to all the team, those that are here in the room tonight, those that are not. We wouldn't have been able to do it without the hard work and the passion for all the team.
I'm just going to throw one really quick comment in there.
Yep.
We do have one more member of the team, Simone, who you will see one day on screen. I'm going to get her on there. She's sitting up on the mezzanine too, not looking into the screen, but she, come down. She is, I can't believe I didn't even mention her at the start. She's been with us 3 months. And she's transformed the dispatch area, and she's sending out all your beautiful orders. So whenever you order from Overeem, this is Simone who's posting them out, and she's sent all the tasting packs out for this. So we haven't heard of any breakages or late parcels. So well done,
Good job.
Simone.
Great job.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks guys so much. Now I think we are going to try one last time playing the Nanook X video, but we're going to. Oh yes, please.
Thanks all. I was going to make one more comment. Thanks to everybody. And thank you very much for all your comments. I've been reading them, so my eyes haven't been up with everything.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
And there's been some rippers, and they haven't gone unnoticed. And I really like it that that you've said that my Man of Promise wasn't the best whiskey tonight. There was a number of you. But my favourite comment was to make me the commanding officer of the collective, which I thought was pretty good.
I missed that one.
That was a good call.
That was great. Thank you for that. Thank you for all those comments.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys wanted to answer before we move to that final video? If we do, just to see if there's anything that you wanted to.
Thanks to Teague and Johnny too.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for hosting.
Amazing. And
Again.
love to Claire. We love you, darling.
Yes.
Sorry
Cheers
for
to you,
being
Claire.
And we've got Todd Morrison up there in the room too, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of you would know Todd Morrison. He's here too.
Mm.
My big
Um,
brother.
Yeah.
Make Casey the commanding officer of the OC.
Well,
That's perfect.
well, guys,
That was good.
Casey is the number one member of the OC, so he owns that membership, 001.
I'm not sure he's
I
got
can,
his
I will sell it if somebody comes up with enough money.
We'll have a chat.
Look, guys, we'll pop this video on. We'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. We can jump on and reply to some of the comments. But thanks
Merry
again so much. And Merry Christmas, everyone. And
Absolutely, Merry Christmas.
thank you so much. Please stay online and we'll try the video. If it doesn't work, just switch it off. And so will we.
See you next year, guys.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Much love.
Right. All right.